Hey everyone, welcome to Best Intentions. We're in our second season. We've been doing this for almost a year, and we're into season number 2.
A year?
We've been
Oh
doing
my
this
gosh.
almost a year, right when this whole pandemic thing started.
And we are just now figuring out that if we sit on our front porch, we can get the lighting just right.
Yeah, we like the lighting. It's cold though. It
might
is
be
cold.
freezing, but we are doing this so we will look good for
Price of our art.
you. We do not look this good inside.
Hey, Best Intentions, one of our goals this season has been that we want to give you some tools to help you have great relationships. We want to give you some tips, some ways to enrich your relational life. And one of the things we wanted to say as we kind of draw this season to a close, we're going to be one more after this.
We're not stop and forget. We're just going to take a little break before we start new season.
Little hiatus. Hey, we just need to state this truth straight out. We need relationships.
We do. And, you know, when we were thinking about that, do we need relationships with just people that are just like us?
That's the thing. We not only need relationships, like you may have a desire to be alone more than your partner or your friends.
Like more introverted?
Yeah, and that's me. Like between us, I'm the more introverted one.
You don't think I'm introverted?
She rides on rainbows and just wants everybody to flutter around with her. Hey, but we need relationships. Not just with people who have the same hobbies, same lifestyle, same perspective as our own. We need relationships with people who are different than us.
Right. Well, and so we were kind of leaning into this thinking about age. And, you know, do you only hang out with people that are your age or that are in your stage of life? Maybe that you have kids and so you only are around people that have kids that are your age. What is it for you?
Well, and think about that for a moment, because I had to stop and think and realize a lot of my friends, a lot of my time is spent with people, especially my free time, with people who are in the same lane as me. You know, it's like when I was single, I hung out with mostly single people. And then once I got into a relationship, most of my friends started having relationships. And my single friends, that was loud. My single friends, you know, they kind of, we parted ways. And then once we started having kids, if you notice, a lot of your friends that don't have kids, you're not as connected anymore. And then as our kids age, we're all in these same lanes.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is we lose perspective.
We lose perspective, but we also maybe stop learning from other people that have some great wisdom and knowledge to bring to us, whether they're younger or older, right?
And I don't think we do this intentionally. I think our culture is really, it steers us towards that. You know, I was thinking about Facebook. Facebook takes everything you like, everything you search, and it tries to connect you with people.
Like an algorithm.
That have those same likes. And so we become echo chambers. My kids are in school, and I happen to be around a lot of their parents who have kids my age.
Right,
My
and
kids'
I think
age.
there's a comfort level there too. Like you just naturally kind of have things to talk about, right?
But this isn't how humans used to interact. If you think about it, it was only a few generations ago that we clustered together as large families or as communities with a bunch of people.
I love that idea, community living.
Well, I mean, we used to have homes that were a lot closer together. In the cities, you spent time on the front porch and you had a bunch of different ages, a bunch of different generations.
Kind of shared the same like garden.
Yeah, moms and dads, aunts and uncles all living, grandparents all living in the same neighborhood or sometimes even the same house. That was not uncommon, but today we've all separated.
Very individualistic, right?
And it's to our detriment. Actually, you know, one of the things we challenge ourselves with is at the end is how do we help you start making
better and different relationships
with people, and honestly it's really hard. There's not a lot of places or ways.
Yeah, we were thinking about how can we do that? Like, how can we encourage people to do that? You know, you had a great example when we were talking earlier about like what happens to us whenever we are with people that are of the same age, and I was tickled by what you were saying about kids.
Well, we were talking about what would happen if a bunch of 8 and 9-year-old kids just hung out for a long time, like I'm talking days, weeks, with no adult supervision. I mean, honestly, it'd be a lot of crazy, probably a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, but then a lot of chaos. But I think the opposite is true as well. What if older people only hung out with older people? There probably would not be a lot of change. There might not be as much creativity. And not that older people aren't creative, that's not what I'm saying, but the brain scientifically is less elastic. Change, creativity, new doesn't happen the older you get.
Right.
And so that group might be stagnant. And what
We're not saying you're stagnant if you're seasoned.
We're not. A seasoned citizen is what we like to say. You got a little bit more spice on you. But what we were saying is, 8 and 9-year-olds need older people to lead them, to guide them, to keep them alive. Because eventually they'll just, who knows what will
Chaos
happen.
might occur, right?
We don't leave my 8-year-old son alone. I don't know what he would do. But older people need the younger people to give them life.
To refresh, yeah, right.
And go for it.
I was thinking about this because, being in ministry, I fortunately don't get to choose where I go to church. Okay, so
You would choose me as your pastor,
hang
right?
On.
Say
hang on
yes.
for a second. This has taught me
She's
some.
not saying
yes,
yes.
I would choose you as my pastor. You're pressuring me there. Oh no, but one of the things I was thinking about is really this has taught me something neat, because we have ended up at churches where sometimes there are people that I don't know that naturally our lives would have come together. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have met each other through that body, and because of that, we've learned so much about each other. And so an example of this is I'm really at each church that I've gone to have really felt like I have been led to lead a women's group, so like a women's Sunday school. And the sweet part about this is that women of all generations from all walks of life, I'm talking even, status and culture and just all of this difference coming together and creating this beautiful group of women who are learning from each other. And so some of these women are more seasoned, and some of these women are just beginning in their life, and we've been able to learn from each other and share truths with each other, and it's just the sweetest thing to watch this happen time and time again.
I mean, I love seeing that happen in the groups you've led, and even watching some of the men able to do that. We desperately need to add some flavor to our lives. And, I have a favorite ice cream. Most of the time it's strawberry. I love a berry flavor. Every once in a while it's a chocolate.
Raspberry or black cherry.
Okay,
or
raspberry.
like
I do have an affinity to Dairy Queen black raspberry. Might have to
really
go
good,
do that.
even though I'm
It's
cold.
But,
I love, yes, do you know?
chocolate chip cookie dough.
Yes, you know me, boy.
But imagine if that was the only flavor you could have. I mean, I personally would go nuts, because if I have the same thing for too long, I need something different.
It's kind of like if your mom works somewhere like a food restaurant, or like I recently was talking to someone whose dad was up in Chick-fil-A, and they're like, yeah, I mean, Chick-fil-A is great, and then they've had it so much they need a break from it. They need something fresh. They need some new spice in their life, right?
Well, and so if you want to add some flavor, if you want to add some spice, if you want to give your life some zest, and actually honestly a lot of excitement, if you need to add life to your life, you need relationships with some people that are very different than you. And I want to encourage you, that not only means multicultural, people from different cultures and different backgrounds, because there's opportunities to do that, and I want to encourage that, but I want to also say generational. You need to walk with some people that are older than you. I need to do that so that I can gain from their wisdom. They've walked some paths that I haven't walked yet. They have some wisdom that I could really benefit from.
Yeah, I mean, they have those experiences that you may have not been through.
And we need to kind of get rid of this idea that if you haven't walked my path, if you haven't lived my life, you don't know what's going on with me. Look, we're not all that different.
Well, and to those who are seasoned, I think sometimes they can even get in this world, this bubble, if you will, of, well, we're just going to hang out because we just don't get them over there, you know. But I've even watched this in my own mom, in her church, as she has decided to challenge yourself with learning about like new fresh ways of, providing ways to reach out to people in ministry, that it's kind of opened up a whole new world of learning about opportunities that are there. And there may be other places in life too that can be refreshing.
Well, and the principle applies no matter what age, what silo, what lane you find yourself in. If you are a young single, if you are a newlywed couple, if you've got young kids, older kids, grandkids, whatever lane you're in, the principles are the same. And here's the very simple principles to add flavor to your life. First off, go meet some people.
Right.
You have to, I have to, we have to be willing to take a step.
Right.
Quit waiting for people to come to you.
Yeah.
Go
And
make
so how do
some
you
new
do
relationships.
that, right? Because that's what we're thinking. In the midst of COVID, in the midst of, not having a lot of control with where we go and how we meet people right now, how in the world can we build relationships with people of different ages, different generations right now?
And it's a real challenge. One of the only places that we can think of that really is intergenerational, other than different workplaces, really is church.
And your neighborhood, maybe.
And your neighborhood. And so, but even neighborhoods, they tend to group together young families and
Right.
older people. So what we want to encourage you in is go someplace, be a kind of person who goes and wants to meet new people and learn from those people that they might be able to add to your life. So that's
Yeah.
going to mean you need to be open.
Well, and here's the thing. I know different people have different levels of what they feel about COVID right now. And so we clearly are not ever going to get into that because that probably is not going to benefit our relationship. But
Don't go breathe in anybody's face. Be like, do you want to know me?
they are going to say no if they smell your breath the way it is right now. No,
sorry.
just kidding. But, it may be that, and this was coming to my mind as a friend was sharing the other day that their mom was having a struggle. I know that mom. And so I can reach out with a text and if I don't have their number, I can ask my friend, or I can send a note. It might be that I do take some cookies to a neighbor and drop it off with a little note, and without, even knocking on their door to see them, if you want to be careful about stuff like that. I think there are some ways. Now, I'm guessing you're probably not going to take cookies to the neighbor kind of thing. And
Maybe a bag of Oreos, but as I walk over there, they may all disappear on the way.
But it could be a different way. And I don't know, do you feel like this is more of a challenge for you in some ways?
No, I don't have, what I don't have a problem with? I don't have a problem going and getting to know somebody. What I have a problem with, and this is the second part, you not only have to be willing to go, you have to be willing to receive. And what I mean by that is when I'm in the mood, when my life is right, I have no problem going and meeting people. But when somebody comes to me, if I'm busy, if I'm focused, if my mind is shifted, I'm not always open to being known.
So there's two things there that I hear. One is that sometimes you're not open to viewing interruptions as divine appointments with the Lord.
We can have a conversation about that maybe next time.
But then I also hear that sometimes it takes some vulnerability and even just some space to set your time aside and say, okay, I'm going to be open to seeing where this relationship can go and nurture this.
Because the reality is we need relationships. And what we just shared, a willingness to go and a willingness to receive.
Yeah.
Those are essentials, whether you're going to make a relationship with someone your own age in your own little lane, or if you're going to make an intentional relationship with someone outside of your silo.
Yeah, you said something earlier that just really stood out to me about how growing old happens. Why does growing old happen?
We're gonna get older. I can't change my age,
Right.
But I can decide if I'm gonna get old. Do you know what I mean? If I'm gonna be old.
So it happens when we're not around new life, right?
Exactly. If I'm not around young, if I'm not around energetic, I'm gonna be honest, it wears me plumb out. My kids, my 8-year-old and my 10-year-old and my 2-year-old wear me the smack out.
But there's something about it that also keeps us new, right?
There's a lot of life. There's a lot of
Yeah.
energy. There's a lot of, I'm on pins and needles because I don't know what they're going to do next. I don't know when my son's going to walk up to me and smack me in the stomach.
Which he did to me the other day, thinking that it was you, and I did not react the way you were.
But there's some joy in that. And so we need to add some life. We need to add some flavor. And so I want to encourage you to be the kind of person who walks across the room, who goes and makes a new relationship, who hey, come to a church, go to a church. And I love any church. I'm not picking on any churches or saying one church is necessarily better than the other. But I got to tell you, there is something special about a multi-generational church.
Yes.
I need young kids and I need grandmas. I need those balances because there's a lot of
Those little
wisdom.
grandmas love you.
and there's a lot of wisdom and there's a lot of joy. Go be a part of places like that.
Even if it's with a mask on, or even if it's behind your telephone.
Well, and we know everything's a little different today.
Yeah.
But how about making tomorrow different? Make a commitment that your tomorrow is going to be different because you're going to add some flavor to your life. You're going to add some spice. You are going to add some zest as you get to know some older people who can really pour into you.
Yeah.
And you're going to decide to walk along some younger people.
So our challenge to you is maybe throughout this week, this month, this holiday season, step outside of your comfort zone. Have some courage. Try something new. See if you can build a new relationship. The end return is not only going to impact their life, but it truly will impact yours.
Hey, until next week. We got one more in this season. One more. I'm Matt.
I'm Carrie.
My beautiful bride. Carrie, this is Best Intentions. I hope you have found this helpful. If you have, do me a favor, share or comment. Let us know. Let others know.
If you have a neat experience that's related to this, please let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
Because we want to build relationships. Because we want to be flavored, spiced by you.
Boy, you spicy.
You baby. Hey, till next time. Bye.
Bye.